Good morning, Stocktwits Nation. It is Thursday, July 24th. I am Katy Perry. This is the Daily Rip Live, and we are here with a super special guest, Evan Medeiros, trader, investor, founder, CEO of the Trade Risk, OG Stocktwits community member. Welcome to the show, Evan. It's awesome to have you with us today.
Thank you for having me. Great to be here and excited to kick things off.
How's your morning going? We were just talking in lovely New England. How are things there?
Oh, the weather is so nice. It is beautiful. I just got back from a little mini day trip. It was an overnight trip to coastal Maine and
Ooh.
ate lobster, lobster bisque, lobster cakes, lobster
Oh,
everything,
man.
and came back fat and happy. So
Love it.
it's good to be here.
You know, it's funny.
And
I had a random thought a few weeks ago. I was like, I really want to go to Nova Scotia. Have you been?
I haven't, but one of my best friends is there right now, and he's taking a
Interesting.
cruise from NYC.
You
Yep.
just don't hear about it a lot, but it's up there. You just got to keep going.
It's tucked up there. It's pretty large, and
Yeah.
yeah, I got to get up there.
Well, I didn't know you were coming on the show today, but I actually I got my Dunkin' today.
Ooh,
So,
thanks. So,
uh,
I'm kind of I was out on the West Coast for a while, so I'm a
oh,
Starbucks guy,
even still, what do you
Even
think of the turnaround?
I don't think I've been to a Dunkin' Donuts here for the last 2 years while I've been here still.
So
I
you're
got,
going to
I,
Starbucks?
yeah, or just
Yeah,
support the
yeah.
local guy,
All
but
right.
or gal.
You
But
don't like all the random stuff in it,
I don't like all the
basically.
random stuff, all the
Yeah.
flavors. I just like my brain melts. I like pull up to the menu and it's like 38 different
Yeah.
So, no.
I like a hazelnut coconut. Sometimes I'll throw a blueberry in there. Why not? Mix it
Oh,
up.
that's
Uh,
right.
keeping it classy.
That's right.
Well, we're so excited to have you, and I know we have a lot of things to talk about. It's been kind of a whirlwind week.
Yeah.
Shai and I have been trying to track everything that's going on. Earlier in the week, we had Jake Wu on going through some technicals. We had Tom Bruni on yesterday talking through what was happening in Stocktwits. We had some earnings roll in this morning, so I'll do a quick rundown of what's going on, and I want to get your take on what's going on in the news, but also I know there's other things specifically, and also since you're here, great opportunity to learn about your investment style and your background, and it's always great to hear from people on the ground.
Let's do it.
Earnings this morning, American Airlines stock dropping after cutting its 2025 profit forecast. They missed their Q3 expectations. They are citing weak domestic demand and summer storm disruptions. I can speak to that. I actually missed a friend's wedding a couple weeks ago because
Oof.
there were such bad storms in New York. All the flights were grounded. So, Caitlin, I love you. I will make it up to you, but summer travel is not fun. Uh, Blackstone, they shared Q2 earnings this morning, surging 25%, driven by strong performance and incentive fees from retail and evergreen investment funds. It's including private equity and real estate. So they are making moves on the retail side. And Mobileye, they make the chips that help cars drive themselves, which of course is a very hot topic right now. Their approach is slightly different than, quite different than LiDAR, which is the other way this could be done. But they raised their sales forecast. Obviously, autonomous driving is big. And we had Tesla yesterday. Evan, did you have any takes after the Tesla's readout? I don't think anyone was super surprised, but any rapid reaction to that one?
So the reaction to Tesla was, I am so thankful that it is a public company. and
What?
and the reaction is because, Elon's got obviously all of his private endeavors there, and Tesla is something like it's becoming more and more clear. Like the destination is almost clear in my mind that it's going to win. It'll get there eventually, but man, does Elon and the company and everything else just take such a hard road to get there. And I feel
Mm-hmm.
like as traders or as speculators, there's just so much opportunity to jump on this story and to find these little dislocations in price. So, look, yeah, I wasn't surprised. I think he's positioned in such a good spot. It's kind of let's see if he, can keep his mouth shut to kind of get where the company needs
Mm-hmm.
to get. Um, I don't, it's an interesting trading vehicle. I love to always look at Tesla and see what they're up to. Um, but I don't have any big takeaways from this
Yeah.
quarter. Just Elon's a salesman, right? And
Yeah.
he's gonna do what Elon does, make a lot of promises, biggest new market of, all Optimus and everything else coming. So
He
we'll see.
says 10,000 robots by next year. I'm just like picturing that, and it's kind of horrific, but I'm like, that would be like a cool flash mob. You could do choreography. There's some fun that could be had with that. And it's interesting to hear. I know you're mostly quant. We'll get into sort of your style. Jake Wu as well when he's on. And then Shy when he's on is thematic long term. And what Jake always says is, I don't really touch this because something could get tweeted or something could get said. And it's like, it's just all over the place. And he's like, I'm not trying to play that game. Is that sort of your take as well?
So yeah, I mean, it's God. If you're just a long-term patient investor in Tesla, like man, good on you. I don't know how
Yeah.
you sleep at night. I mean, I guess if you keep the size small, but it's just such a long ride, and the stock's been range bound since what 2021 or so, kind of
Yeah.
moving in this big old sideways range. So again, I think the North Star is higher, but there's a lot of wiggles in between, and so it's just pick your spot. You don't have to kind of you know take all the bumps.
Yeah.
I
What
suppose
are
I
they?
guess.
The trust the process is what they say.
Trust
It's
the
going to be
process.
bumpy, but you'll get there. We also had Google parent company Alphabet reporting. There was a lot of, I would say, FUD, just a lot of conversations swirling before this one. Obviously, uptick in conversations about the impact of Gen AI on their core search and advertising business. The TLDR there is, as people are seeking information in other places, they're going directly to Gen AI platforms, LLMs, and that sort of cannibalizes how and where Google surfaces its ads. Now they have their own Gemini product, and Google obviously has an entire business outside of just the search, although that's its most profitable. But they posted strong earnings. They had, Shai called this yesterday. He was looking really at the cloud growth. Cloud revenue growth is up. YouTube, which is another advertising vehicle, that's one of the obviously largest video platforms in the world. So they were instilling confidence. They also talked about capex expenditures for AI, totaling 85 billion, which I looked up. That's the total GDP of Croatia. So, um, Google, Alphabet, what's your take here? Because we haven't met yet. I'm always curious to ask people because it's interesting. People have different takes on, are they behind? Are they lagging? Are they doing fine? What's your read on Google?
I mean, I think Google's in catch-up mode right now, right? Like you said, there's a lot of doubt on just Google missing the mark or just being so slow. So I think the market's giving them a little more credit now. I think they're sort of proving themselves. They're getting their act together. I mean, out of all the Mag 7, it is probably the one I would want to bet on. And quite frankly,
Mm,
it's mostly for just the data that they have, I mean, between YouTube and Google Maps, I mean,
yeah.
there's just so much rich content there that's a staple of everybody's lives. So I like it. I mean, I don't own it right now, but it's in catch-up mode. It's starting to, perform. So we'll see. I
Yeah,
mean,
you made a
yeah,
similar comment Shai made yesterday, where Google's one of those companies that literally touches every aspect of your life. It's your calendar, where you store files, your email. Like it's insane.
and
And
it
even you brought up maps. I always forget about maps. Like
maps, yeah.
all these they're just so embedded in our day to day lives. But you're right. It's a treasure
And
trove
then
of
and
data.
then Waymo, which is obviously head to head with Elon and the large stake there. So I mean, it's a juggernaut, and I guess like I think the overhang, and again, this gets out of my expertise, but it's would be like the DOJ breakup of these companies. I mean,
Yeah.
that overhang maybe is still kind of pressuring the stock, but I mean, again, I'd probably love to see YouTube split out and trade as its own stock. I think that would be kind of great to get some independence in there. But
Hmm.
yeah, they're working.
Yeah.
It's working.
Yeah, so yeah, it's a pretty solid start. I'd say
Yeah.
expected solid start to tech earnings. Of course, we're talking about these big companies reporting. We have some more. We have, I think, Apple's next week. We have Microsoft. We have a bunch coming up. But then on the other hand, we got all these little guys. And when Tom Bruni was on yesterday, he was saying that this is the most trading volume of stocks under $5 per share ever.
Wow.
And we got GoPro, Open Door, Krispy Kreme, Wendy's in the mix. And then last night, American Eagle Outfitters, which we'll get into, which isn't a small cap, but another funny story. What do you make of this? How is this meme movement similar to the one we saw before, and how is it different in your view?
I mean, yeah, I think it gives you a lot of context uh, about where we are in this cycle, and I think um, retail especially, right? Just kind of piling into a lot of these more speculative reaching for risk. I think it retail's feeling good, right? Like and retail is a smart, intelligent class of investors, right? Like make no mistake, but the retail DIY trader has had a great year. They came in force, they bought the April lows, they're fat and happy, right? And so
Mm.
when you start to see all of this now moving out, the Palantir money, right? The name it money that they've made now starting to float into these other more, it gets a little dicey here. um,
That's a nice way to put GoPro stock, I think.
yeah, so I'm
A little
trying to
dicey.
a little dicey. So it's a sign of the times, I think. And maybe we'll talk more about this after when we talk about more market broad context. But I think this is a time where, look, you kind of have to enjoy the moment and kind of, it's very costly not to participate in this market.
Hmm.
And I think that's the way I would view it, right? And so it's a risky market. It's telling you there's some froth there, with a lot of these speculative names. I didn't know that stat, that the most volume traded under $5. That's pretty remarkable.
Yeah.
You can certainly see it though. So you should have your warning signs kind of coming up, but it doesn't mean the party's over.
Hmm.
And so you just want to be aware of that as an active
Yeah.
participant. But I don't think I'm participating in any of these. I didn't get the memo that I should be buying, Open Door and Krispy Kreme. I kind of missed
I
those.
know. Coles is the other one, and
Cool.
when Jake's here, we talk about just the impact of the ticker on which ones pop. Coles is like basically Kiss, KSS. Krispy Kreme is D Nut. Like it helps. This kind of gets into your trading style, though, that I want to talk more about because I know. I think in my notes here, I have it. You're mostly, you have a thesis, you have your methods and approaches, like 90%, and then 10% is like,
Give it to me.
yeah. So if you're not, aping into Coles, good for you.
Yep.
Not investment advice. What does that 10% look like for you? And then I want to get into the 90%, which I think is something that's probably more applicable to people listening at home.
Yeah, let's start with the DGEN first.
Yeah.
So for the 10% that like I'm pushing buttons on and I'm focused and trading and active and looking for some juice, so to speak, I try and be very thematic and figure out the industry or my expertise on where I think something is going. And so for me right now, and it has been, is really kind of Bitcoin centric, crypto, all of these Bitcoin treasury companies, which is just this whole, new
Hmm.
world that's kind of spawning up. Um, that's where my attention is because I think there's a lot of hot money there. There's a lot of pocket and speculation and some big moves that are happening. So that's kind of where my attention is. I am focused on that 20 stocks or so. I'm looking at relative value plays, but it's all kind of hinged on perhaps crypto or Bitcoin more specifically. Um, but I did have, I was very interested in power generation coming into this year. Those were a lot of stocks I was fishing on in April. I don't really have any more of them at this point. It
What
seems
type
like
of power? Nuclear or?
nuclear, yeah, for sure. And then just anything on the spilling over to data center build out
Hmm.
too. So GE Vernova, all the nuclear
Yeah.
stocks, and that same kind of that cohort, which is mostly at highs and kind of again frothy.
Yep.
So so yeah, I try and stay in my lane when I'm doing the sort of degenning on things that at least I know, or at least I think and I can describe some value to, and then I kind of focus on that for my own trading.
Yeah, I think you're very representative of a lot of people now, where you have, I think it gets muddied where like, oh, retail investors, meme stocks, like yes, and that's a part of it, and it's almost like people know going in like, okay, this is my main thing, but like let's have a little fun here. I got a DraftKings account, you got
100%.
prediction markets in Robinhood. Now it doesn't mean you're putting your whole paycheck to that. But I always talk about in this show, like I'm a VU girl. I'm an index fund, but I have a little that I'll bet on college sports games or I mean I didn't get in any of these meme stocks, but I would
Yeah.
because why not? And I think that's an important nuance. And Do you do that more so? Is that like a strategic diversification play where you say like I might be missing out if I'm not participating over here, or you're like this is just fun and it's 10%?
Yeah, it's no, it's a really good call out. I think for me, I need to stay engaged to stay in touch with the market and to also come up with new trading ideas and
Mm.
systems, right? So I'm trying to stay sharp. I'm trying to sharpen my skills as a trader, as a discretionary trader, making decisions, feeling the emotions, watching price action, right? Like watching the market. That helps me really craft these more rules-based structured workflows that then I will potentially automate.
Mm.
That's kind of the way I think about it. I'm out there kind of, in the trenches, right? As they all say right now, and cutting my teeth trading these stocks and these fast moving stocks and feeling the overnight gap moves and all the fun stuff. And then it's like, okay, well, how do I now start to remove Evan from the equation? How do I now go research what I've learned and let's see if I can automate it and let's see if I can like, you know, do that, right? And that's been my philosophy. I started off as just a day trader on Stocktwits, looking for all the other day traders on Stocktwits, and then had a small account, so then I was day trading options, and that ended poorly. So you learn all these things, you get smarter, you try and survive. The older you get, the less risk you take. I mean, it's just kind of the name of the game. But yeah, so that's kind of where it's fun, it's interesting, and then again, I just kind of specialize in that sector, so to speak, for
That's
trading.
really interesting framing. I've never heard of like the DGen side of being, yeah, it's fun, but it's kind of like your when you confuse your muscles exercising. Or even I think about I'm from the marketing world and a lot of brands will have, a 10% innovation budget. And they're gonna put all the marketing spend towards Google and the things they know works, the thing they can measure. There's always this little bit where like, let's just test this stuff out over here. Let's learn something.
Totally.
So I think that's a really interesting framing. I don't think I've ever heard anyone articulate it that way, but it seems pretty accurate.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're a total robot and you're just automating everything and you're never kind of looking at it again, I mean, good for you. I mean, if you're making money and you're happy, like, by all means, please continue. But if you just want to continue to kind of adapt to the markets because they do change, you kind of need to stay engaged. You kind of need to yeah, you kind of need to be out there and seeing what the new modern markets are doing. So yeah, it's worked reasonably well, but yeah.
All right, let's go to the 90% because I think there's probably a lot of people listening that are like, okay, what's he doing? What can I learn from that?
Yeah.
What is sort of your methodology in a nutshell? How you think about things, how you make decisions, where you're focusing?
Yeah, so for the 90%, I am really trying to, again, remove my own self-destructive emotional biases out of the equation, right? And I really want to operate as objectively and as clean and based on data and probabilities as possible. So it really, again, going all the way back to 2010, starting on StockTwits and learning from traders and doing it myself, I basically have just automated more of what I've learned trading markets and putting it into a rules-based trading system. So, basically at this point, my favorite spot, and I think this is a great spot for active traders, especially if you have a career or family or just busy life, which we all do. I like end of day swing trading. So I
Hmm.
basically don't trade at all right now. So markets, well, no, they're not open yet, but they'll be open soon. And I really don't have to look at markets at all. I'm waiting for the whole day to complete.
Hmm.
I will download, or my systems will download all of the moves from the day, and then it'll spit out orders for the next trading session. So everything that I do, and I encourage folks because I think it's a good balance between staying active in the market, being able to adjust and move, find opportunity and adjust your risk, is to do a once a day approach, and you can do it anytime after you get home from work, anytime before the next market open, and then you place your orders. So all of my system, my research, my workflows are all based on end of day trading. And then I'm kind of, again, I'm not reinventing the wheel. I have trend following strategies, I have momentum strategies, and I have mean reversion strategies. So all just jargony stuff of, based on price action,
Hmm.
and that's kind of my shtick, so to speak. That's how I survive.
I'm fascinated at the workflows because I'm not an active trader. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, what does this look like when you're saying it's is it an elaborate Excel spreadsheet with equations? Is it like a program you use? How you get, how is it understanding from your mind that process? How did you get that into a system that can kind of automate that for you?
Yeah, so I mean, a really simple like illustration of it, and I mean, I don't run this like specifically, but the classic kind of 52-week high breakout system, right? There's a lot of evidence, there's a lot of research papers, and all kinds of back tests. You can look at buying stocks that hit 52-week highs because you're betting on that momentum and that trend to continue. When a stock's at 52-week highs, they're doing something right, and so you could quite easily automate that, right? You could have a script, or you could pick your favorite charting platform and you could build a scan, and you could simply say, okay, show me all the stocks that hit 52-week highs today. And you've got some more work to do. You got to figure out how many stocks you're going to hold, how many shares you're going to buy. I mean, there's more to the process, but I mean, if you just got that curated list of 52-week highs, and you say, okay, I'm going to buy these three
Yeah.
tomorrow on the open, and I'm going to size them correctly, and you got to think about some more things, but that's a way to objectively sort of remove yourself from the equation if you're someone that likes to buy stocks hitting highs.
Mm.
And journal it, document it, see how the results pan out, and you make adjustments over time. But that's a pretty straightforward. So nothing I'm doing is that. I don't even like to use the word quant because it just sounds too fancy and mathematical. And so it's logical, rules based workflows is kind of the way I like to
Yeah.
think about it.
Well, what's interesting about quant now and just the impact of AI is it reminds me of coding.
Yes.
So, like in the coding world, you needed to know how to, do the math, do the coding. It seems like now with these tools, and I'm curious if you think they're there yet, but somebody with a philosophy or the method in their mind could type that out and the math will be done on the back end. Are we there yet in terms of some of these tools that are out there?
I think we are already there, but there's a lot of risks associated with it. So one of the
Yeah.
things we glossed over, but my background is computer science, so it does help that
Okay.
I know how to code, and that's why I was able to kind of do this bootstrapped early. But nowadays, you can get AI to build you a lot of wild trading strategies. You do have to just now be extremely cautious because um, markets, as we all probably know, they're not mathematical equations. You can't solve markets, right?
Mm-hmm.
They are complex adaptive systems. It's like trying to map the weather. They are constantly evolving. One new thing comes out, it changes the
Mm-hmm.
distribution entirely, right? So they're not solvable, but AI is going to try and solve it for you. And they're going to just, they're going to look, if you say, build me a trading system that looks at Tesla's last 6 months and give me something that I can day trade, it's going to give you something, but it's highly brittle and it's based
Yeah.
on tons of variables. And so you just need to be conscious and aware of it. And I've seen a lot more. There's some popular sites, I won't name them, but people are posting these AI generated strategies with just ridiculous returns. And look, I mean, maybe you could run it until it, you know, falls off the mountain, but
Mm-hmm.
you do have to just be careful. So, yes,
Yeah.
it's
And
never been easier, but it's also equally as dangerous.
yeah, you got to check the work. I think that's what a lot of coders say about the no code stuff too. They're like,
Yeah,
yeah, you could build something pretty, but like there's no security layer. And,
right. Yeah.
like the back end's not so good sometimes. So I think that's a good call out. And also just, even when I do research for the show and everything, I feel like I always have to fact check everything, especially if it's happening more real time. There's a lot of times where it happens where I see something, I'm like, that's not right. And I'll say, wait, is that right? And it's like, oh no, sorry. Like I just
Right.
made that up. I'm like, wait, why did you make that up? Like they'll like, it's not even like they say, it's like it doesn't want to say it doesn't know, and it'll just fabricate something, which is
uh,
crazy
it is crazy.
and quite human, I think.
It is. Yeah. Yeah. It is remarkably human. Yeah, it's such a good call out because like yeah, everybody that's building new apps or websites or whatever that are taking payments and stuff like that. Like there's so many potential risks if you're buying or building on these tools.
Yeah. And you really only know about the risks if you have the sophistication to understand what you don't know. And I think that's, you're going in and because you do the quant, but like someone who doesn't is like, oh, cool, da, 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 that's my strategy. So
Bingo.
be
Yep.
careful out there, guys.
Yep.
Let's zoom out a bit and talk about general market, what's going on. I can't believe we're already over halfway through the year. And
Right.
it feels like we always talk about on the show. It feels like we lived so many lives, especially since April. And then, yeah, no one saw any of this coming. Like, we had the April lows. That feels like a lifetime ago, not that long ago. We're up 30+% from that. How would you describe the state of the market right now God, we're in the last week of July already.
Yeah, we're in the last week of July. I mean, it's been a remarkable year. It's a V shape for all V shape recoveries, right? Just elevator down, elevator back up. Um, Look, I think kind of as we opened and talked a lot about the volume surging in stocks sub $5 and the speculation in the air. I mean, that's what's here, right? And so, I think I think recognizing it is the most important step. It's just understanding, especially if you're a trader. Especially if you're a trader, opening your account every day and just then pulling out the spreadsheet and saying, well, if I do this for the next 2 years, I'll have a gazillion dollars,
Yeah,
right? I mean, if
it's
you're
easy to do too.
it's so easy, and we all
Yeah.
want to feel good, and you really have to ask yourself, when you're a trader, like, is it you or is it the market that's kind of bailing you out right now?
Hmm.
Are you bringing alpha to the table? Are you doing something unique and novel, or are you just leveraged up on a ton of beta that's just is going up? And I know for me right now, it's all beta. Like the market is bailing me out on every stupid DGEN decision I want to make because it's just working, right? There's a bid in this market. And so I think you just have to keep that in context. And so on one hand, I'm kind of worried, or the bells are going off in my head saying like this is sort of unsustainable. One of the stats that I look at is just, how often we're pulling back or how often we're retracing or just, seeing some ebb and flow in markets, which is normal and healthy, right? Stocks
Hmm.
should go up, you should have some fear, some profit taking, it kind of resets the floor, then you find, then you go back up and earnings are supportive and all the good stuff that we all want to, look at. But this market is just levitating higher. It's ignoring, it's pulling forward so much optimism, and it's ignoring everything that's spooky.
Ignoring big things, very
Big
big
thing.
things. We talked about that before. We were at the brink of a huge global conflict, and I was like,
Right? Yeah. We'll worry
Coles.
about that when it later on, right? I mean, so that will eventually come home to roost. It will eventually matter. But it's not right now. And so it is tough because you do have to hold both of these things in your head. You have to understand where we are in the market cycle. But again, I do think you can't afford not to participate here because these are golden periods where everything's working. We will look back on this in 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 months, 12 months, whatever it is, and we'll be chopping around sideways. Nothing will be
Hmm.
working. We'll be trying to buy the dip, and then we'll buy the bigger dip, and then we'll buy the huge dip, and it'll be painful. And we're going to reminisce about, the 2025 golden age.
Yeah.
So you kind of got to, you know, be aware, participate. But I'd say things are a little bit frothy right now. I would
Yeah.
prefer a pullback. Um, and yeah, it does seem like we're breeding a lot of confident new traders, which is, a little scary.
Yeah. Confidence is good. Overconfidence, maybe not so much. Hubris,
Yes.
definitely not.
Yes.
Uh, Now, the NASDAQ, we're nearing the opening bell. The NASDAQ is set for another record. You're talking about this sort of up, up, up.
Yep.
We talked about things happening that really didn't shake the markets up the way you would think. So what do you think would have to happen for this pullback to happen, actually, at this point?
Hmm. Um, I mean, I do think, I mean, it sounds such low stakes, and maybe, I could be dead wrong here. I think earnings, I mean, eventually they will matter. I think this earnings season is kind of interesting to me, specifically around profit margins and the impact of tariffs. I think how companies are passing those on or absorbing them. I think that is mildly. I mean, it will matter
Yeah.
eventually, the weighing machine, but. that's one thing. So just getting this data, we got another jobs report coming out next week, I believe.
Mm.
Um, and then, this whole fiasco with President Trump and Jerome Powell. Like, I mean,
Yeah. I
what's
think
what's
he's
going on?
going to the Fed today.
Is okay.
And
So
like they bring like a camera crew. It feels like a
right.
reality show. We always talk about it's like a reality show where there's like that confrontation in like the back room where it's like, what did you say? And they're like coming home from the club at 4 a.m. That's how I picture it in my mind, even though I know they're both older gentlemen.
That's probably how it actually happened.
You're like the Blair Witch Project camera
Right.
angles. Yeah, it's always something with those guys. I think there's our opening bell. I
Oh,
know Bessent's kind of like the adult in the room.
yeah.
He's like, yeah, he can leave if he wants. He could stay, whatever. Uh,
Again, what? Fist fighting Elon Musk in the back
I
room,
don't
or
know. We've
uh,
talked. That's
yeah.
that's a topic I get on too much just because I'm nosy. I'm like, who did that? Definitely wasn't the kid in my view, but could have been.
Yeah.
Um, let's go to some other things going on in the market. I want to go back to memes for a second because this
Yep.
is crazy. Someone sent me this last night. I was like, you got to be kidding me. Sydney Sweeney has a multi-million-dollar brand campaign now with American Eagle Outfitters. American Eagle was it
Yeah.
for women of my age. Also with Abercrombie and Abercrombie A&F, great stock to own over the last few years. They had a renaissance. American Eagle, I would say not as much as A&F. They're trying to kind of get to that level of improving quality and I think leveling up their customer base to be a little more an older demographic. So she does this ad, and a lot of traders are like, "Yeah, I'm bullish on Sydney Sweeney. His stock's up 12%." And it got my mind. Sometimes these things happen and it gets my brain going to like, is this going to be a strategy now of like influencer marketing for IR? And is that it's fascinating.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it's working right now, right? Like, I mean, I think people are paying attention. So yeah, we'll see how the stock actually holds up. But yeah,
Yeah, I'm
bullish.
like wondering all these people if they stepped a foot into an American Eagle lately because I have. It's not where it should be in my view, but hey, neither is Kohl's, neither is GoPro. Who cares at this point? Everyone's having fun.
Everyone's
I thought.
having fun. Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that, I mean, the only thing that I can think of putting my trader hat on is, I mean, there's no good news priced into those stocks, right? And so when
Hmm.
something new happens, like it's a fresh catalyst. Like nobody would have, who would have thought Sydney Sweeney and her star power or whatever, right? Like it's something new and novel. It gets the stock to move. So yeah, it's interesting, but
Yeah, you gotta wonder if there's a corporate secretary, CFO
right,
somewhere like, "Oh, who can we get? Uh, and like someone's already done it at this point. There's gonna have to be another gimmick, but
that's right.
it's wild times. And I'm personally fascinated at the intersection of like marketing to traders, not
Mm,
just communicating, but like within the realm of what you can do. It's kind of it's a different process than communicating to institutional investors, and I think that's a great example. I'm sure that's not what they were trying to do, but I'm sure people are looking at it being like, huh,
yep,
like
yep,
who can we get?
right.
I want to go back to crypto for a sec because I know you mentioned your 10%, the crypto treasury companies. It's like your GameStops,
Hmm.
MicroStrategy, I would assume. Are you directly investing in Bitcoin crypto as well, or are you just getting exposure through those companies?
Yeah, so both. So a big Bitcoin bull.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Assume you've been in a while. Happy for you.
Yeah, well, I think I placed my first uh, Bitcoin trade in 2012, but I was
Wow.
very much a trader. So, when it went up 30%, I was like, I'm a genius, and I sold you know what I mean? So it's one of those stories
Yeah.
where I wish I had the, investor hat on. I was, would have been, I wouldn't be here. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. No,
I
you
wouldn't be
would
on this
not be.
show.
You would definitely not be here with me. You'd
I'd
be
be
in
on
like
an
the
island.
Maldives, sipping a mai tai.
Yeah. So this is why we're talking about meme stocks, because
Yeah.
we're still trying to make it.
Coals.
Yeah, that's right.
Not to. I don't mean to like punch down on Coles. Coles, great. Coles cash. Okay, so
Yeah.
you've been trading. So that's interesting because there are different personalities of people. You have like the Bitcoin maxis who are like, this is the future. Hold, 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 and then you have the traders. So you're on the trader side.
I am on the traders. So I've kind of now I guess I've kind of converted a little bit to, I guess I would call myself a quasi maxi, but I'm still a maxi that believes that markets ebb and flow and there's cycles and Bitcoin will go down and things will outperform it. So like I'm not dogmatic about you have to just own Bitcoin and sell your shirts and pants and television because you just need to stack sats.
Yeah.
So like I'm not that wild about it, but I do believe it makes it into a permanent portfolio. I think some allocation to Bitcoin 1%, 2%, 3%, or higher, like makes sense.
Mm.
But then, yes, I am just actively trading it because, and with these crypto, with these Bitcoin treasury companies, I do believe it's capturing a new zeitgeist of capital. And I think the
Mm-hmm.
story has more to play out. Again, we talked about bubbles and froth. Make no mistake, this is it. Like, I mean, I'm not blind to the fact that there's new companies spinning up every single day doing the same Michael Saylor
Yeah.
playbook. So there are plenty of risks. This is a bubble brewing. It will end badly,
Yeah.
but again, we're just not there yet. So
Yeah.
it feels early. So
And there
that's
seems to
my
be
opinion.
different levels to the Sailor playbook. Like I was reading about Figma, they're getting ready to IPO. They're planning to have to do a little Bitcoin in their treasury. But it's like different. There's Sailor, and then there's other companies being like, yeah, why not do a little bit? And it's a spectrum.
It
Do
is.
you
Yeah, yeah.
focus on one, like the hardcore ones, or do you kind of diversify across those companies?
Yeah, I mean, it's it's so funny. I'm diversified across my
I'm
Bitcoin treasury
diversified in
company.
my DGen. That's going to be a thing too. Is your DGen strategy diversified enough?
That's so funny. Yeah, so I am pretty opportunistically trading them. I'm always looking at how the market is valuing them versus, I mean, just Bitcoin in general. I think, yeah, Michael Saylor has clearly won the game. I don't think anyone's going to collect more Bitcoin than that
Why isn't
man.
he in the Maldives? I watch some of these
Right.
people and I'm like, what are you doing?
It's
Go
it's
live, go read a book. I'm happy
it's
for you. But
I don't know if I don't even know if he's married. I don't know if he's
he's just doing his thing.
he is just like this is his baby, I think.
Yeah. You got to respect that. I mean, I guess it's easy to say like outside of that, but like you get in that, you're like, that's your life. What are you going to do? What's he
Yeah,
going to do? Crochet? I don't think so.
right. That Miami waterfront yacht property that
Oh
he
my
has,
God.
it's incredible. But
Too
yeah,
much.
he has sort of won the game. Like I don't think anyone's gonna outpace him. But I do think like for retail folks that are like looking at some of these Bitcoin treasury companies, again, please have a strategy and know how much you're risking. Because again, I do think it ends badly. But there is generally speaking more opportunity in the smaller things, right? Because I mean, Michael Saylor's I mean, it's $100+ billion at this point. Um, there's more risk, but there's more opportunity on the lower end market cap stuff because they can acquire more
Yeah.
of 100 more Bitcoin to a small company means a hell of a lot more than Michael Saylor collecting another 100 Bitcoin, right? So
Yeah.
the impact is kind of different.
There's so many of these too, and I'm always interested in how they're taking profits from that if they are and what they're using it for. I interviewed the CEO of Cooler,
Oh
which is
yeah.
an exoskeleton,
Mm.
and he was talking about that, and I'm like, okay, like if you're in that seat, you see the price go up just like you. You're like, all right, do I take this and go invest in this product, or do I just keep riding it up because I'm making money anyway? Like, how do you make that distinction?
Yeah, no, I think exactly that's it. I think the boards and how they act over the next 6 months, 12 months, or this cycle is going to sort of differentiate a lot of these companies. I think, yeah, Semler Scientific, there's a handful of others that actually have a profitable business and are making money. So it's like, what are you doing with this Bitcoin?
Yeah.
Are you leveraging your ops, your operations, or are you just hoarding like a Michael Saylor? Yeah, it will start to matter. And I think the market will get smarter around these things. But there's a ticker, OWNB, OWNB, which is
Okay.
just tracking all of it's an ETF. I think Bitwise has it.
Okay.
And it just tracks all the Bitcoin treasury companies.
Oh,
And so
interesting. That's
if you have,
helpful.
I think if you have over 1,000, I think the criteria is 1,000 Bitcoin, so it's a little high, but
Okay.
you're automatically added to this. And so this is like a good sentiment gauge on you, and
Mm.
this will help you kind of figure out maybe when the market's starting to get tired of this concept. And you can also benchmark your favorite Bitcoin treasury company against this and see if it's actually,
Yeah.
outperforming or underperforming.
Good call out. That'll be a fun one. I'm like thinking, I'm gonna do that Saturday afternoon. That'll be fun.
That's it.
Uh,
And if you don't want to spend any time, you can just own that thing, and
yeah.
it has them all, right? If you just want to put your DGEN on autopilot. So
Interesting.
yeah.
Well, we're talking about Bitcoin. Let's back up into time and talk about gold.
Oh
Because
yeah.
I want to, it's interesting. We've talked to like a couple of mining companies, crypto, and it's like you think these are two completely separate worlds, but a lot of people who are interested in one are also interested in the other.
Yep.
So what's your take on gold?
Yeah, I think if our stellar producer can throw up our year-to-date GLDI bit SPY chart I sent over, I think what's fascinating is we talk about all this froth in the market, just generally speaking. But if you actually look at year-to-date performance of like semiconductors, S&P 500, Nasdaq stocks, gold is kicking butt. Just
Yeah.
GLD. It's remarkable, and this is the second year in a row. So it's I mean that's just so yeah, there it is on screen now. It's just a simple bar chart year to date of the performance as of yesterday. But gold is at the top of the list, just really crushing. And
Mm.
then if you throw GDX on there, which is gold miners, they're up 60%. So I hear Peter Schiff doing a dance in the distance, and he is, winning this year in terms of performance. And I think it's, I mean, I don't know. It's a confluence of things, and it would get into the big macro stuff. But maybe it's just central banks hoarding the hard assets. It's selling America. It's buying things that are more credibly neutral. It's a hodgepodge of different reasons why this is probably all working right now.
Hmm.
But when you just again, I'm a quant. I look at the numbers. I look at the momentum and trends in the market, and gold miners, Bitcoin is kicking butt still.
Yeah.
So that's why that has my attention. I think there's still legs to run. I think it's covered a lot of ground. It's frothy, but there's still plenty of opportunity. I tend to just trade GDX or
Yeah.
just trade the index, and it's just not my wheelhouse. I cannot pick between individual gold miners. I just don't know.
That was literally gonna be my question because it to me it feels almost like biotech where it's like unproven thesis,
Yep.
early, maybe upside, maybe it could all blow up, but then I don't know. They're like, oh yeah, we're in Arizona. I don't know anything about anything, like, and so I don't know.
Pull,
And
pull that quote. That's the that's the title of the episode. I don't know anything about it.
yeah, like I'm like, I get it, but there's so many nuances. And I've seen
Totally.
lately in FinTwit, I don't know if you guys have seen it in the chat, but like it's like a common joke where if you're making fun of someone for just doing something they don't know, there's always some reference to them being in like a junior gold mining stock, like every single time. And I'm like, no shade to those companies, but it is like kind of a meme at this point. But so
Hmm.
you're just GDX. You're like, I'm
Just
not trying to figure
GDX.
out what's in Wyoming.
Yep, 100%. Yeah,
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you 80% of the companies behind that index. I just know it's working. It's working right now. It's
Yeah.
working in this environment. I'm not some staunch believer that,
Pick a winner. Pick a state. Pick a state,
y-
any state. Pick a mine.
right, right.
Uh,
So yeah. But I just think it's yeah. Zooming out, big picture, gold is kicking butt for the second year, and it's technically for all you technicians. I mean, throw up a chart of GLD or GDX. I mean, it looks great.
yeah.
So it's doing everything you'd want to see. So
I like
yeah.
talking about gold. I think my favorite era in American history was like the gold rush. I think that was just wild times.
So
And it feels, I'm like, we're doing it. We're doing it again and we're doing the Bitcoin.
fun.
We're right back where we were.
I remember doing those like underground tunnel tours
Yes.
like in Seattle. So like apparently I'm gonna totally botch this history, and it's just not even gonna be
No one will fact. It's
representative.
okay.
Yeah, nobody
Someone
will
will
fact
fact
check
check if it's about the financial markets. If about history, you're good. Don't worry about it.
that. The city was like underground, or it was there's a whole underground like tunnel system you can kind of go through in Seattle, and it's all tied to the gold industry and the gold rush that was all coming in the World Fair, and everybody was going out to Alaska to try and find gold. And it's just
Hmm.
simpler times. Right now we're talking about digital gold. That's not
Yeah.
fun.
But some people are going. They're digging. They're
They're
trying
still
to
digging.
find it.
Hey, I mean, it's valuable now, right? And
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's even a couple weeks ago. I was like, copper. I'm like, why are we talking about copper? The
hmm
tariffs. I'm like, I feel like we're in like an old timey movie sometime.
right?
It's like the 19th century
Yeah.
all over with all these crazy like AI super cycles, and it's weird.
Yeah.
It's very disorienting, but also intellectually interesting.
Yeah.
I want to go into a couple technical trade ideas I know you have. The first one being SoundHound.
Oh yeah.
I'm familiar with these guys a bit. I used to work at a retail brokerage app, and
Oh.
it was had like a social layer, and they were really, even back then, this was like 3 years ago, interested in understanding their retail investors. So curious what you're seeing out of this company, and also. Shai and I have tried to describe what they do, not well, but it's basically sound AI. Is that? And I know this is a technical conversation, but I'm trying to situate people here.
See, I was gonna rely on you guys to tell me what do I own because
Yeah.
honestly, I legitimately could not tell you too much more about this company. It is a four-letter ticker that I like
Hmm. Okay.
because
Why do
this
you like it?
yeah this kind of falls in one of my quant systems, right? So
Okay.
this is kind of on the momentum breakout system. So um, I think it. So I highlighted this one. So yes, I do own it. Full disclosure. It's a risky stock. It's volatile. So again, do your own homework on this. But it moves a lot, right? It's very volatile. It has big momentum moves, and this is the type of name that I feel like is not quite meme stock, but it certainly gets retail traders' attention when it starts to ramp up. And again, it came out of a 70% correction from January to April, which was not fun. And then from a technical perspective, it's something that has now kind of digested. It's gone sideways. It's kind of collected itself. It put in a higher low, all these technical terms. But basically, it's not overextended. There's not a lot of froth here, right? You don't look at SoundHound and say like, well, there's not a tremendous amount of excitement from the price. We could argue if the fundamental valuation matches the price. That's a whole nother discussion. But I think from a technical breakout perspective, it's showing some signs here that it could be ready to move up. That's at least the bet we have, and we're wrong half the time. So if we're wrong, we just exit and exit gracefully. So I couldn't tell you too much about. I mean, I know what space it's in, but yes,
Yeah. Well, to
you
your
are.
point, it's funny. I always go to that, and when Jake's on too, he's like, I don't give a damn.
Yeah, yeah,
And I'm like, yeah, that's a nice place to be. Let's talk about the next one. I actually do know this company because my background's in marketing and advertising, and you got the trade desk here.
yeah.
Big ad tech player. Um, it's kind of a convoluted system, but they have ability to kind of bring together multiple platforms and data layers and sort of automate these things for brands. You guys would be actually shocked at how the systems work that serve you the ads that you see every day. But
Mm.
let's look at the chart for the trade desk and what you're seeing there.
Yeah, so I don't own this one. This one's just again kind of another flagged one that is interesting from a technical perspective. Now, if I'm not mistaken, isn't the trade desk we have a famous short seller that has put out a bunch of research on this and I
I
don't know.
believe it sounds familiar. I'm not
Okay.
sure.
I,
While
I
you're
don't know
doing
if
the
that's
chart, I'm gonna.
yeah. I know I think this is the controversial one where it's they were break where it was
Oh
they were
yes,
breaking compliance laws on like
yes,
tracking or something like that.
yeah.
Yeah, I again, it's not my wheelhouse to fully understand the
Or
fundamental
was that
story.
AppLovin?
Oh shit, that was AppLovin, right?
Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
I just didn't want to. Don't come
Shade
for us, trade desk. We just cleared your name.
in,
Uh, but
case you cleared
similar,
your name. Okay.
similar. Okay, keep going. I didn't mean
All right, good.
back to the trade desk.
All right. Well, I saw that massive scary gap down in February, so
It
yes,
could
but
be.
yes,
Oh,
yeah,
and you know what that was? I think Shai talked about this. They had like a really horrific product rollout that
beautiful. Okay.
just like did not resonate with customers. People hated it. So
Okay.
continue.
Good. That's much better. Good
Mm,
business practices,
yes.
honest, just
Yep.
bad product. Okay.
Yep.
Good.
Just.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. So technically here, the good news, I mean, it's just, it's starting to, it's had the big, I like when things get destroyed um,
Okay.
because it creates the opportunity. It resets the investor base. It flushes out the hot money. And so when you get those big flushes, very similar to the market in April, you tend to just clean the slate, and now you can start to build up again, and it's just building up, it's working higher, it's coming back into that big technical gap from February. And so yeah, just kind of a momentum swing trade that's not super stretched or frothy, and could be interesting. I don't have a position in it.
All right, let's go to one you do. Next
Yep.
Tracker. Not to be confused with I think there's a wrestling property called NXT. It's not that. Don't ask me how I know that. NXT, which is one you own. What are we looking at with this one?
NXT again. I would love to know how they're doing so well, because this is a solar stock, and solar has been tough. I mean, they're starting, solar TAN, the ETF, I suppose you could look at, like is the big broad basket of solar, but it's been brutalized over the last few years. It's showing some signs of life now, but NXT is totally bucking the trend here, and it's basically flirting with all-time highs. So again, just a very technical trade setup, highs, good strength, not too overbought, kind of coming out of technical bases, price, volume, all starting to come together here. So these are kind of, again, a fairly fast mover once it gets going, but it's just names that don't seem too stretched, too frothy, but are holding up well. And so that's what I'm trying to still participate in this market by finding little nuggets like this. So yeah.
And how do I always ask Jake this too, like the discovery. How do you even know where to start finding these pockets? Is it like something happens in the news and you're like, I'm going to look into this sector? Because there's thousands, right? Like, how do you know where to even start?
Yep. It's I click a button and and the script just runs over the 5,000.
Okay.
I mean, it's literally that is what this one is. It's more black boxy, and it's like, show me the strong stocks that aren't stretched, that
Got
have
it.
good
Right. It's going through
momentum.
your criteria.
That's it.
Okay.
That's it.
Not
So
like a
this is
chat
kind of
roulette where it's just like, hey, check this one out.
yeah. So that's it. So that's one. I own it,
Okay.
and yeah.
Let's go to D-Wave. I recently interviewed their CEO
Nice.
about their business. They do quantum annealing, which I learned all about. They're trying to make a strong case for saying they're commercializing and they're getting their solutions to market. It's a lot of consulting stuff, though. And we had a quite infamous debate on this show with Martin Scarelli and Shai. It got very ugly a few weeks ago. So quantum is definitely heating up. But QBTS, what do you see in the technicals on this one?
Wow, I'll have to go back and rewatch that. That's
Oh,
interesting.
yeah. If you wheels came off.
Okay,
It was
all right.
gloves came off, wheels came off. We all had fun. We were all better for it in the end. But that was my first. I did not know people were this heated about quantum debate. Like that's just not my. It's not my world.
Yeah.
But I was like, wow, people get pissed if on the other side. So it was a little, it was dicey. Definitely check it out. It's on our YouTube.
Nice.
And also my interview with D-Wave. But go
Yeah.
ahead. Let's look at QBTS.
Yeah. Well, good news here, although it doesn't make for good television. I'm very impartial to the technology that D-Wave is bringing to the table and the developments here. It's purely technicals. The stock is up 130% year
Wow.
to date. So it's making moves. Its market cap is growing fast, but still relatively small. So again, I think this is another maybe retail kind of exciting one that can really get going here. So again, this is kind of just a breakout name, moves fast, good volume profile. Technicals are pretty strong. It's not frothy. It's not crazy, bid up yet. And so, yeah, it's just another little trade setup, a swing trade, a position trade to try and capture the beta in this market in a sector that has attention, and just trying to ride that momentum and have fun while the music's playing, kind of thing. So yeah, I don't believe I own this, but it's something I'm watching. Yeah.
Okay. Let's round out then with some of the defensive plays you're making. XLP, XLV. What are you looking at on those charts?
From quantum to healthcare.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Quantum's supposedly going to solve big healthcare problems. Although, if you ask Martin Scarelli, that is never going to happen.
Oh boy.
But
I'm gonna
yeah,
ping him and
continue.
tell him you're still taking shots at him.
No, you know what? It wasn't. I wasn't really. I didn't catch the ire so much as shy.
Okay.
I was sort of moderating. I had an easy job of. Well, I wouldn't say it was easy. I was trying to, I was in the back of the bar trying to make sure no one got knocked out, and but yeah, he's very emphatic about it, and it was just interesting because I got digging, and it's like there's valid points on. I don't know about quantum computing enough to know if it's so. Anyway, healthcare.
Yeah, healthcare again it's been a painful spot to be for the past year and a half or so. I mean, frankly, 5 years. It's real. If you're looking at just the XLV ETF, it's gone absolutely nowhere. I mean, it does pay a dividend. It's doing its thing in that respect. But I think again, if you are if you're someone looking at this market and sort of hyperventilating at the risk and the meme stock craze that's in this that's in the air right now, if you do foresee a correction, if you do foresee pain ahead, XLV and XLP, the staples, they're actually kind of they're firming up a little bit. They're kind of trying to get their act together. I could almost envision the kind of breakout and the rotation and the money flowing into these sectors if we start to really nosedive here in the more tech and AI and juicy parts of the market. So I think they're just. I do have a position in XLV. Actually, I have a position in both of them. Small though, not like a trading position. But
This is again, you're looking purely at the chart and not thinking because XLV, that's a healthcare one. Their UNH has got to be a big position, and I just saw a headline about them. There's a DOJ. They got their own stuff going on. You're
totally
not so much thinking like, oh, what's going to happen with those guys.
no.
You're like, I'm looking at the chart.
Looking at the chart, and just yeah, I think UNH is probably one of the biggest culprits on why that's been dragging so
Yeah.
much. But then yeah, you got Eli Lilly is another big one. So yeah, it's just more of a longer term defensive durable thesis where I wouldn't mind parking cash if we are gonna see a market decline for weeks and months. It'd be something like that where, okay, maybe I'll start to take risk off the table out of quantum and soundhound and start to move it into healthcare and, gold and that kind of stuff. And I think consumer staples are starting to shape up too. I mean, again, it's boring. It's not the place to be per se right now. But there are things setting up there that's starting to, at least get my attention as sentiment runs high.
Well, I think that must be a fun part of being a technical trader is it doesn't matter if what the company actually does is boring as hell. If the chart's doing something interesting,
Yeah,
that's interesting to you.
yeah. I mean, you're almost. I mean, you're just really outsourcing and relying on the wisdom of the crowd, which
Yep.
they can get it wrong plenty. But I mean, if the market is rewarding a company, maybe it's Sydney Sweeney on a new ad campaign. But I mean, like, hey, I mean, if the long term trend's intact, then
Yeah.
kind of hang my hat on it. So
I mean, I'm always looking for, there's a lot of academic research on retail traders. And I think that when you said wisdom of the crowd, that's what I thought of because the dumb money moniker sort of started before people could actually talk to each other.
right, yeah.
And now it's like crowdsourced decision making across millions of people. And mathematically, it seems like it would work, although you can have, outsized influence from certain people, you can have misinformation. But yeah, the philosophical side of that is interesting. We'll have to have
For sure. Yeah.
a weekend chat about that on a special weekend episode of the Daily Rip.
Yeah.
As we head into, I guess tomorrow's Friday, but like next week, are there any earnings you're looking at? Any headlines? I know you mentioned the job reports. What's sort of on your radar as we close out this week?
Yeah, I think so. Jobs report is something that is on my radar for sure. And then I think just the rest of the Mag 7, and I am interested in, again, I'm not an expert myself. I will rely on the wisdom of the crowds and Stocktwits streams and other smart fundamental analysis folks to track profit margins and how tariffs are impacting things because again, those will matter eventually. But mostly, I mean, realistically, I'm watching the reaction to earnings season is what I care most about, more so than the numbers, and just waiting to see if we can get through earnings season and
Mm-hmm.
continue, because I mean we're getting late in the year here, and we're going to
I
be talking
know.
about Christmas and Santa Claus soon. So
Well, this morning in New York, it was a 71 and no humidity. And I was like, ooh, it kind of feels like college football season. I was like getting excited. And I looked at my app and it's going to be 95 again tomorrow and like humid as hell. So we
almost
still have
time
some
to,
summer left in us.
yeah, yeah. It's not the sweatshirt and apple cider weather yet. So
Not yet. I'm ready for the pumpkin spice, though. I'm not even going to lie to you.
yeah. So yeah, speaking of coffee, or was that before we
That's
started?
where we started.
Okay.
That's full circle on this show always.
I do love the pumpkin flavors. I
It's
am
so
a
good.
sucker for anything pumpkin. So
You know what? I'm here for it.
Yeah.
You'll have to come back before the fall, though. It was great having you, Evan. Of course, this is Evan Medeiros, CEO of the Trade Risk. This has been the Daily Rip Live. Thank you guys for joining us this week. We'll be back Monday, 9 a.m. Eastern, with more headlines, and we will see you soon. Thanks again, Evan.